Yeah, so here we go again. I am Ben. This is my substitute for psychotherapy, known as solo therapy. Today we are not in the car. Today we are in my flat, on my bed. I'm making some tea. Reason I'm not in my car. Let's start there. I'm not comfortable outside today. I did manage to go shopping after having a shower, so that's a delight, I guess. Could be worse, you know. I haven't got the energy really to go outside at this time. And that's just the way it is. I have suspicions. We'll get to those later. For now, I'm warming up my tea set. Doing Japanese tea with a Chinese tea bowl. A Japanese kyoso. I'm most certainly butchering it. Apologies to anyone who may be offended. And a Japanese cup. The tea of choice is, apologies for the butchering ahead of time, a gyokuro out of the house of Nakatani, imported by my go-to tea importer located in the city. I've had this for quite a while, but it's been in the freezer most of the time. And I'm quite happy I've had it for quite a while because I probably wouldn't be able to afford it now, at least not within reason. Might as well show you the goods. This is the goods. Hoo-hoo, fancy tea. It's probably the most expensive thing I buy. I guess it's more expensive than tobacco, that's for sure. At least per mass and per serving, but you don't do as many servings. On tobacco, my smoking stats have been down as of late. I have my suspicions as to why, though, as always, they're only suspicions. I believe I'm simply not getting out and about enough to be smoking much. They haven't been down that much, considering I haven't left the place all that much in recent times, but still, you know. And now let's get to my suspicions as to why. Actually, today's snack is cocoa nut, which is these cocoa covered balls. Might as well show you one. Ta-da! I can proudly say I did manage to go grocery shopping earlier. Was overdue for about half a week, which is part of the reason that I haven't uploaded, I guess. Because I do these every time I go shopping, but if I haven't the energy to go shopping, then I don't do these because I haven't gone shopping. Then again, I have in the past done them without going shopping. They most certainly require more energy too, though, than shopping does, that is. The reason is I believe all this job hunting, job application process put me into a state of autistic burnout. I mean, I'm not a mental health professional, then again, it's not a mental diagnosis. It doesn't exist professionally. I might as well read you the intro of the Wikipedia entry on autistic burnout. Autistic burnout is a prolonged state of intense fatigue, decreased executive functioning or life skills, and increased sensory processing sensitivity experienced by autistic people. All of those apply to me, so fair enough. Autistic burnout is thought to be caused by stress arising from masking or living in a neurotypical environment that is not autism friendly. Also fair enough, my tea's done, so I'm just going to have to pour that. Just give me a second. 30 seconds with 80 degrees centigrade water for the first one. There we go. Does not accommodate autistic people's needs, in parentheses. While not formally recognised as a medical condition, there we go. That's what I meant. In the DSM-5, autistic burnout has become increasingly recognised within the autistic community and has gained attention among researchers, clinicians and autistic people themselves as a significant aspect of the autistic experience. So me saying I'm probably in autistic burnout is as close to diagnosis as I'm going to get. This has now been pre-warmed. I had some water in here. This is just a pipe end I got from DIY joint, and I just use this to dispose of the water. Now I can have my tea. With the application stuff, while I may be able to get a better starting wage if I burnt myself even more out, if that's even possible. I'm at the point where I can't even do it anymore, so I might be able to get a higher wage, but really I'm happy with the minimum wage at my former place of internship, interestingly enough. And that's what it'll be. Oh yeah, the date is 2024-09-14. The time is 14 to midnight, so we'll most certainly still be sitting here tomorrow morning. Is not worth the hassle for me. I mean, I got a social appointment on Monday noonish. Tomorrow, soon enough today, I got film club, and then on Tuesday morning I got an appointment with the Agentur für Arbeit, the German unemployment / employment procurement office. Don't know what you translate it as, I guess. I'm hoping I'll find the energy to go there. If not, I'll have to cancel my appointment. Would be a shame. But as I don't have a contract on my former place of internship yet, I simply have an offer without a contract. I feel it is necessary. So I'll have to do it just to cover my arse unless I get an invite or a contract from my former place of internship by then, which I highly suspect I will not. That being said, earlier in the week I did send my former place of internships heads of hiring. There we go. A lot of qualifications in that there. I did send them an email stating asking for an appointment, because beforehand when I'd had a question, I was told, oh, just make an appointment. And I asked for an appointment for clarification of benefits, which with hindsight might have not been direct enough. But in the end of the day, to receive benefits, one has to work. Considering they hadn't reached out to accept my offer, and me as a fellow human not wanting to waste their time, I'd claim it's reasonable to assume that I am willing to take their offer if I'm asking for an appointment to clarify benefits. Might not have been direct enough though, who knows? I might have already worked there if I were director, never going to find out. And that brings up an interesting situation, because at the end of the day, they're arguing I am worth minimum wage at this time. While I might well be worth more, I haven't got any better offers, so it's the offer I'll have to take. But with that, we're setting the precedent of my employer knowing my worth better than me. And I am still split on this, but I am leaning one way these days. And whether I should disclose this to them and say I'll believe you'll act in good faith and increase my wage as my value increases, I ain't coming to you, because at the end of the day, if it have caused me burnout now, what am I going to want to be doing looking for employers in future? And they wouldn't want another potential employer, reach out to me, or me reach out to them, find out I'm worth more and leave the company. But I am leaning toward not stating such, and just taking a better offer if I get a better offer down the road. because now plenty of places have my curriculum. I only had one interview, and they weren't looking for anyone at this time, and it was the one I kind of invited myself to, admittedly. But now places got my curriculum, and if I continue working in the field, they'll get to see me and hear my name, etc. So eventually they might just ask, and in the end of the day, some money for me, but money make the world go round. It's a silent power. It's a giant power with a big sound. Silent power with big sound. There we go. Forgetting my own dad's lyrics. Oh no. But considering I am to be considered in the state of autistic burnout, and I prescribe it to job hunting and maybe graduating as well, but more likely it's just the job hunting and the writing 5 applications or so, I don't think my capacity is worth it, because I've been feeling like shit. I mean, my driving ain't been great. At one point I was purely hypothetical to not self-incriminate. At one point I was at 160% of the speed limit, which in my home country, on my home turf, my therapist and me would wear to describe, or have in the past described, as parasuicidal acting. But in the city it's near impossible to drive parasuicidally, simply because, well, most roads are so well separated, you'd have to be an idiot to hit anything. And it feels kind of unfair saying this, because there is people who manage to hit other things and flip their own cars and. But I don't think that's reasonably doable unless one have the intent to. And the idea of parasuicidal driving was the lack of intent. The idea of simply not giving a fuck. And I don't think I'd want to consider the option of having to live with the idea of having killed a father, a mother, a child, whatever. All of those wouldn't be as bad as any one of those, to be fair. Not saying one should kill. Don't kill. It's not good. But I wouldn't want to have to live with that. And back in the home turf, you got the woods and the roads in the sticks. Nice curvy roads, speed limit is way higher than one can reasonably drive in small cars, low power cars as I have. Well, this van now isn't small, but still relatively low power, so, And I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, I know objectively it's good, I can't do it. But somehow, I reckon in the home country, it would have raised more red flags for people around me, I mean, back in the home country, I didn't have to go over the speed limit to drive parasuicidally. Here I go over the speed limit, I am still not at where I would call parasuicidal in my driving. Then again, purely anecdotally, of course. Yesterday I'd driven behind a plod into some roadworks which should be signed as 30 speed limit instead of 50. But I believe because it's dark, and I've never driven there in the light with those roadworks there, so I wouldn't actually know. But I believe those light just jumped. I'm surprised at that. Oh, there we go. I have it set to fireplace mode or so, but still surprising. I believe there should be a speed limit 30 there. But at night, in the dark, all you can see is a red circle around a black circle. Well, a red ring around a black circle, which is not a legal sign. And this is the kind of ways in which I've been going over the speed limit, I guess. it's not legally going over the speed limit, but is in my mind, because it's obvious the spirit of the sign is presumably speed limit 30. I honestly haven't seen it in daylight, so I can't say with 100% certainty, but I don't know what else it'd be, you know. But in the end of the day, the plod driven 50 through it, and I've driven 50 through it as well. And this is not even what I'm counting in the hypothetical case of 160% the speed limit, because that's actually 167%, you know, assuming that we're 30. On the other hand, creatively, I have made a bit of progress on WTFP, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Papa, which shall be my film project for Film Club's seasonal challenge of autumn/fall. Working title, Falling Perspectives, because I thought that was funny enough, you know. I do have one collaborator for that. A fellow member of the club is going to do all the audio, and we'll do in a feedback loop. One of us starts, that would be me, hand it over to the other before it's finished. The other do their bit for some bit, hand it back, then I finish, then I'll hand it back and they finish. So I have some kind of feedback work there. It's experimental abstract again, surprise. Oddly enough, I haven't had much capacity for it. I mean, I spent, 5-6 hours so far working on that. Got maybe 10% in runtime done for the first draft, which is kind of a bummer, but that's just the way it is. And I mean, I really don't like sitting at the computer at this time, just because it's not bed. I mean, hell, I'm in bed now. Surprise, on bed, same difference. So that's just, you know, I'm low energy. That having been said, yesterday, at least for the next 3 minutes yesterday, so Friday, and on Thursday, the day before yesterday, I did go by my former place of internship just to hang out, to have a reason to leave the house. And because it is now a generally accepted fact that I will be starting there, for they still have a need. They have no other applicants, and I am willing to take their offer. And just been hanging out, you know, just a couple of hours to get out of the house. And I have gone for a few walks in the past few days. Thursday I've done like 6-7k, and then yesterday, for the next 2 minutes yesterday, when you watch this it won't be yesterday, surprise, but Friday I then went for like a 5k walk. Pleasant enough. It's not summer anymore. It feels like autumn, which is a pleasant experience because one can wear a jacket. If one is too warm wearing a jacket, one can take off the jacket and cool down. Not like in summer where you can wear a t-shirt and if you take it off it's still too hot. And you're in the socially questionable range then. Social norms, one have got to love them. No, I don't. Interestingly enough, I actually written a review on this tea for an elective last winter semester. I believe it was. Might have been the one before then. Might have been last summer. And ironically enough, I did not pass the elective because apparently my review was too subjective. I'd asked their blessing beforehand to review an herbal product, either tobacco or tea, and I'd gotten it. And I don't know what the prof was expecting. I mean, they're writing prof, and I don't think they were expecting a full lab analysis. But if you don't write subjectively about these kind of things, there's not much you can write, you know. Actually, that reminds me, I might have not pushed my shower button today, and it's about to become tomorrow, in which case I might have to manually enter it. Time for the second round of tea. There we go. Got my thermos, nicely labelled water and water in German. I am running, I believe at this time, tap water from the home country. I boiled it and then had it cool down and go back up to 80 degrees centigrade, which is the recommended temperature range-ish for this tea, and this thermos is fairly good at keeping the heat, so I reckon it'll be just about recommendation. Oh, there we go. Spill nice water all over. Good news is I got a nice tea towel here on my tray, and that worked out just fine. Because that's the thing with this tea. I mean, with, I believe, some Chinese teas it is, you are supposed to spill water. You spill some for the gods. With Japanese tea, you're also, at least, it's not of any concern, if not part of the experience. I am not an expert on this, so I've been frequenting tea for going on a year. Is it going on a year or going on 2? I honestly don't even know no more. I got these hourglasses. Bought the cheapest set off of Amazon back in the day when I got this tea set. Jokingly enough, the only one that broke in shipping was the 1 minute one. And I need times of 30 seconds, 1 minute or 2 minutes. So I've just been double using the 30-second one for 1 minute. And the 2 minute one I don't really need. It's just if I want to get a fourth infusion out of the tea. And I could just do 2 1 minutes or 4 30-second ones, which is why I don't even have that on me up here. When I sit up, I mean on the bed. It's below standing height. It's just now Sunday, by the way. I'm still wondering, because I believe the words were said at the end of my last interview at my former place of internship, whether they would pay for my continued qualification and education to become an electrician of limited ability, so maximum 1000 volt AC or 1500 DC. Because last time I believe it was mentioned after we'd agreed to not come to an agreement, that they would pay for that. And if they were to, it's in my eyes not even a bad deal. And again, for me any deal is not a bad deal because I have the capacity to apply for more jobs. And perhaps that was not the wisest chess move, explaining that during an interview. Then again, since then I've applied for like 4 jobs, so, you know. Good fancy tea. Expensive shit. And I'll still have some more. And I just poured way too much into my drinking cup. Oh no, back in the pouring cup you go. There you go. I'll still have some more in my freezer. Because I buy not so small quantities of my importer. Well, when I say my importer, first off, they are not mine. It's simply the possessive for I am where I know them from. No in-betweens, no intermediaries. And second off, when I say not so small quantities, for them it is small quantities, but for me it is not. I believe I've bought 2 loads of tea of them, maybe 3. Gyokuro Nakatani and Micha out of I don't know which house in Japan. Fancy stuff. I did actually manage to go to the tea house on like Monday or Tuesday. I don't know. Probably was Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. I'm kind of whiffy on the memory these days. Particularly because on my way there I decided I'd take the U-Bahn all the way from Brandenburg Gate, 5 stations. It's only one direction to go, 5 stations. To Alexanderplatz. Which is still quite a ways from the T-joint, but closest station. I believe it's 5 stations. And I had a bad enough experience that at the end of the day, when I got to Alexanderplatz, I just fucking ran out and couldn't handle myself. And I didn't care there was people stood in front of the doors on the platform, I just rammed them out of the way. Because in the end of the day, everyone knows when a train arrives, people are going to want to exit it. What are you doing stood in front of the doors? It's not like there's another door to exit. People have to exit before you can enter. No, but people were just getting way too close into my intimate space. One lady shoved her handbag, backpack into my hands, and I was thinking, I wonder why pickpockets do what they do. Then again, I did not steal. Though I could have ethically done it in that situation, no problem, because she shoved it into my hands, man. But I just couldn't handle it. I was cowed in the corner for the last station, because it's not like there's an easy way out, And people don't respect your boundaries because they can't tell them. So I don't know how to deal with it. I mean, one can carry around something humongous that hinders people from not respecting one's boundaries, but I don't think that's reasonable. I don't know. But after that I was completely done. Was originally going to take a tram to the T-joint, but I then walked to the T-joint. And once I was done, I walked more than 5k back from the T-joint to my car. That worked out surprisingly well. Besides a traumatic experience of U-Bahn, 5 stops. It's the longest public transit trip I've taken this year. One funny thing, which I guess is because I'm autistic, I'm not sure though, normal people might do too, because I have no reference, but I believe I haven't seen normal people do it, is there's a small sticker of the maker of this stuff here. It spells Arita, and I don't know what the Japanese above it is, but that's where my thumb lives. No matter which hand this is in, it's where my thumb lives. Apparently some people peel off these stickers, but then you have no orientation. I don't get it, I can't actually press the thumbnail. There we go. There we go, that's a thumbnail. Oh, as I'm in my flat, I might as well give you an update. I sent my plants into flower approximately 2 weeks ago. They've started to grow some nice flowers. I don't actually know what I'm going to do with them, but I'll harvest them once they're done and dry them because I legally can. One of them's actually a bit big for the compartment that I got for them, but that's a problem I got to worry about when I got to worry about it, not now. In the end of the day, I'm just growing these plants out of principle. One other thing that is bordering on self-harm, I guess. That's just how it is. So I've been driving my car, surprise, the one I usually sit in. Volkswagen T5 Transporter. And it hasn't had a valid general inspection since the 1st of this month, which is now half a month ago, 2 weeks ago. Legally, it's perfectly fine for a couple of months. Like, first off, no one give a shit, and second off, even if someone were to give a shit, it's like $15, and it costs $25 more to pass an inspection after the fact. But at this time, I'm just not comfortable spending the money on it because I'd rather have it for next month's rent, assuming I don't start next week. Never know, you know. And not just rent, but also electric and internet. Because no matter how miserable I am, without electric and internet, I'll be hell a lot more miserable. Same as without a roof or somewhere to have my bed at. It's just the cost of doing business in a society, I guess, you know. And with the car, I'm not worried about not having passed the general inspection myself. Because I know the only thing that need doing anytime soon is the brakes, and they aren't urgent. They're still well within their tolerance. And, you know, even if I had the money, which theoretically I do, but I'd prefer to not spend it for the moment because then I ain't got no reserves. I at this time don't have the capacity to go by a shop and get an appointment and then drop off the car there, get back to here, spend a couple of days and then go back to pick up the car. So no matter what, at this time I'm kind of out of options. Which is kind of a bummer, but that's just how it is, you know. Can't change what is. I have considered not going film club tomorrow, but I think I'll force myself to, and I might just show up late and leave early. But I need structure in my life, and at this time that's the only recurring structure I have. So I guess that's what I'll do. Might just sit in a corner and not have anyone talk to me. Again, I might not go, never know. Oh yeah, on the elephant in the room, surprise, it's after midnight, and here I am, still fairly awake. My circadian rhythm have been fucked again recently, just because I haven't had the capacity to go to sleep at night. Brain's still racing, which then don't help with the brain shutting down the next day on time, you know. Yesterday to today, I actually slept fairly well for a change. Probably slept solid 8 hours, which is a rare exception, but it's pleasant. Yeah, so that's something I'll have to work out. But I hope the burden of responsibility on Monday and Tuesday will get me out of bed. Hopefully into bed as well, but likely I just won't sleep those days. Well, at least not before the appointments, perhaps after them, you know. It's kind of a bummer, but that's just how it is, because you have to keep functioning in a society. High functioning burnout, high functioning autistic burnout, whatever you might want to call it. That being said, I don't just got my appointment film club tomorrow, social with a friend on Monday, and at the office for working, whatever, Tuesday. I also still got to upload all my documents to their platform, to their online platform. The joke is their platform support maximum 2 megabytes, which means I have to upload my curriculum and my references separated, because the PDF is like 10 pages because I have a lot of references. But it's too big to compress down to 2 megabytes without losing all the crap. So I'm going to have to start the computer and sit at it just to do that. As unless I can find a way to do it on this here, the phone, you know. Because for some odd reason that's less of a hurdle to get going with. Funny how that works. I did manage to bring down some trash not that long ago, since I last talked, certainly. But I'm at the point where I also got to bring down paper sometime soon, because I got a lot of cardboard and paper spread out. Once I'm done with that, I should probably vacuum the place, but that's a day's energy, you know. I ain't got the capacity for the next week. It's kind of horrendous how that will work. But that's just the way it is. Good news is this too will end. There will be a time at which I will have structure in my life again. And in the end of the day, because I can pay my expenses with and put a bit aside, I'm happy enough with minimum wage, man. It's just not worth, in hindsight, it probably went worth the past 2 weeks I spent stressing about finding a job, which pay me more. It's not worth it. But then again, I think I owe it to my future self to get the best deal I can. And if someone else, I sent out a handful of applications. If someone else had said, oh, okay, we'll pay a couple of bucks more now than minimum wage, I should have taken that opportunity, and I was not in the position to assess the employer market beforehand. And now I am in a bit less of a bad position to do so. And I guess I'll just have to trust my former place of internships head of human resources. Mouthful. But apparently they know something I don't. Just got to hope that for future they will also, unless someone else is going to have to headhunt me. And eventually I'll just quit because someone else have headhunted me, which I certainly don't hope is the situation. But I highly suspect they're going to play this game with, oh, then find somewhere else that pay you the value every time I ask for an increase. Which means I ain't going to want to do it. Like, I might ask for an increase every now and then. If they give it to me, good. But if they don't, well, I got to act then. Otherwise I'm showing, oh, my word's worthless. Because in the end of the day, asking for wage increase always is an unspoken threat of someone else will pay me more, you know. And at the end of the day, I don't really care for money. But the problem is, we live in a capitalist society, in a capitalist world. Like, money make the world go round. It's a silent power with a big sound, you know. I mean, hell, bloody tea costs money. Flat costs money, electric costs money, internet costs money, food costs money. You wouldn't believe it. Speaking of food, have some snack. The one thing I'm split about my potential future employer paying for my continued education and qualification is I am going to have to keep in mind that is part of my compensation, and I don't owe them because of it. Just because, you know, I mean, I got a bachelor's. Minimum wage is really kind of lowball, particularly considering they kind of owe me favours. But, you know, but that means if they do pay for my continued qualification and education, it'll be part of my compensation, and I'll have to see it as such. Which means if someone else comes and headhunts me and offers me a couple of bucks more an hour, I'll owe it to my future self to end up taking it. And I guess another thing that is less concerning for me now is the offer I'd gotten from my former place of internship was going to be below minimum wage starting 1st of January 2025. Since then I have found out the person who actually do payroll will not pay below minimum wage, presumably because the company would be liable. Which means, yes, okay, they negotiated this with me and I agreed to it, but I'll still get minimum wage. And I had wondered for quite a while whether to bring this up in conversation with, oi, you're offering me below minimum wage starting beginning next year, because minimum wage is increased to £12.81 or so an hour, but is in the end of the day not worth fighting over, and I'll just have the payroll person sorted, and the head of human resources of the company would not know, and I frankly couldn't care less at that point. In 3 weeks' time, I got a visitor coming to town. Not for me, but they are coming to town, and they are looking forward to seeing me. I am very much so looking forward to seeing them. It's actually two, but they come as a package, so good news is one of the 2 days we are likely to see one another. It was bank holiday, so I don't got to worry about taking holiday then. And I highly suspect, because that is a bank holiday, at my former place of internship the day before, either people will be returning or it'll be quiet days. So, assuming I have a job by then, which I most certainly hope to, because that'll be the beginning of next month, that should work out. That being said, the coming week, so not tomorrow, not Monday, but the week after, actually starting Friday, so starting, I believe it was the 20th as date. I can probably check. Tuesday, Friday, yep, Friday the 20th. I have agreed to do driving for a friend's feature film. Just logistics department, not stunt driving. I'll be doing that, and it's mostly nights. There's one day where it's in the middle of the day, and I did tell them, could you perhaps organise something else for then? And they did. So even if I do get a job by then, I've made sure it wouldn't interfere with working hours. And I'm only driving, so loading and unloading and driving, which means I can sleep in the car while they shoot. It's just I agreed to it, apparently. When future self, past self makes promises, future self has to keep. Past Ben was a dick, you know. Past Ben is a dick. Past Ben will always be a dick. Good news is future Ben can solve all those problems. It's not my problem. Current Ben. That is perhaps a mindset that causes me to say, past Ben is a dick. So I'll do that then, you know, because why not? In the end of the day, it's not going out of my way, and they will be paying for diesel and roughly some of the costs I got on the side. I mean, they won't be paying for my time, but I'm doing it as a favour anyway, so fair enough, you know. Certain to say any other solution would cost them more money, but I certainly do not mind. That's what favours and friends are for, I guess. I don't know. Because it will be mostly night shoots, there should be barely any, if not none, of parking fees. Because citywide between midnight and 9 in the AM, there is no parking fees. Simply because they would not want to have to enforce them then, which means they simply have not made it a rule. Not like that stopped them from not enforcing rules that do exist. You should not be on your phone while driving. The amount of people that pull out their phone the moment they roll to a traffic light. I mean, yeah, you are allowed to operate a phone, but you aren't allowed to hold in your hand and operate it. And yet, seemingly, 2 out of 3 people in the city do, you know. Those are usually the people swerving in their lane, having trouble keeping their lane, going way below the speed limit or inconsistent with speed. But I can't really blame the people because, well, I can't really blame anyone. That's the problem. Because the executive is overworked, we don't have enough plod, and the ones who do have high priorities, which I do understand. Hell, I mean, even stolen property should go before things like that, as long as they don't kill anyone. When they kill someone, it does become a problem, but only then. And If you see someone on their phone while driving, they haven't killed someone yet because they would not be on their phone if they had. So I can't really blame the executive because they're overworked and not enough people work there. I can't blame the people because people are lazy. And at the end of the day, they might have gone to driving school once upon a time. But if rules aren't enforced, you can't expect neurotypical people to follow them nonetheless. We can't all be autistic after all. You know, we can't all be rule following. Would be nice if we all were though. Oh, that'd be a nice system. With humans that follow rules, the system would actually be fun to engineer. I wouldn't mind ruling the country then. But until then, it's not worth it. Well, the world. For fuck's sake, why the country? Why the continent? I wouldn't mind ruling the world if people followed the rules. But as long as they don't, it's not worth it. Just because in the end of the day, you don't want what 40 years ago film, released 40 years ago with the title of 40 years ago, which is the only realisable way of enforcing rules if people don't actually care to follow the rules in the first place. Because people don't care to enforce the rules and follow the rules. Hell, if the plot don't care to follow the rules, why would they enforce them? Can't fault them for it, you know. Just, you know, that's just how it goes. Oddly enough, here I am complaining about my circadian rhythm and drinking tea. Then again, being neurodivergent, that is most guaranteed diagnosed autistic and most certainly 3/4 diagnosed ADHD. I'm not sure caffeine works on me as it does on normal people, so I don't mind drinking tea at late hours, you know. I don't mind drinking coffee at late hours, to be fair. Then again, I do have a rather screwed sleep schedule quite a lot of the time. Those might align, you know, like... Never know. After working title Fall in Perspectives, I reckon I might start to try and get going on the first episode of Tales from the Shrine. I have wondered about concepts because I do want to make it a series. The Shrine is just there, which is why I'm looking there. Actually, no, I'm not going to get something and I have to get up here and I got my tea, which is going to spill if I move the bed too much. But I can tell you, one thing I can see from here is, for example, an Elmeyer Klein bottle, which came from Cliff Stoll out of Berkeley, California. It's a glass Elmeyer Klein bottle. I got some D20s, D12s. You know, I got a Top Sneaky stamp. I got an international pre-dials telephone chart from a telephone box, where you can see +44 is GB, +49 is DE or JER. I don't know which one of the two abbreviations it would use. Probably JER because it's from British phone box, you know. +1 is the US of A. Yeah, but I got quite a lot of shit that makes me think humankind can do nice things on my shrine. I mean, hell, I even got a hand-drawn reg plate of my car on a British reg plate backing paper up there, which my sister drew in 2017 when Dad lost the rear reg plate. Well, we lost the rear reg plate of Dad's car with him driving it. We used that for the rest of the holiday. Kind of dodgy deals, but in the end of the day, is past the statute of limitations and he's dead, so no one really cares. But yeah, that was a bit dodgy. Then again, I understand why. In the end of the day, the bureaucracy don't make it easy on you. And the more days on this planet I have, the more I'm starting to see why people tend to not care for the rules. It's because the rules are not engineered for humans which are fallible. Can't blame them. We'd all love systems with perfectly working components. The crazy thing is, if one component don't work, you can design it with redundancies. Problem is, if the component don't work because it's inherently flawed, the redundant component might as well be inherently flawed in the same way, such as being human. Horrible, you know. Actually, that's a good one. There we go. Yeah, humans are flawed. Anyways, thanks a lot for sticking around, by the way, if you're still here seeing me say this. I bet you're my mum. If you're not, drop a comment, will you? And if you are, I don't mind you dropping a comment, mum. Yeah, I reckon I'm an autistic burnout. It's kind of shit. But what can one do about it? Not much. Actually, I might have something printed out. Symptoms, impacts, potential solutions. Support network, self-acceptance. Yeah, okay. I got that as much as I'm gonna get it. So for now, I'm just gonna stop applying to jobs. That might include one I have been told by a dear friend I should apply for. They have good info on someone needing someone like me. And I might very well tell them when I next see them, which is going to be within a week, most certainly. I decided to not apply for the job. Just because I can't handle it, man. I can't hack it. Fucking bureaucracy, you know. Anyways, I hope I ain't got to deal with that. If I do, so be it. I certainly hope you don't got to deal what you don't want to deal with. Though you might have to, because that's just the world we live in. There we go. Stay safe, I'll see you around. Be seeing you. Cheerio. Thanks for watching.